The great power order of Trump and Putin. Alexander Dugin writes, the telephone conversation between Trump and Putin is a very important event. The leaders of two great powers discussed many urgent issues. I believe that the conversation concerned not only Ukraine but also the architecture of the future, the new great power order that is taking shape before our eyes and does not at all resemble the unipolar, globalized liberal world. This world order, imposed on humanity by the previous American administration, still remains in the European Union, but only as a remnant. In this conversation, Putin and Trump laid the foundation for a new architecture of international relations. Of course, the dialogue will continue, but the most important fact is that it has even begun, that our leaders are talking directly to each other, exchanging views on resolving various problems. The very fact of this conversation is difficult to overestimate. It has already become a turning point in recent history, a moment of de-escalation. Yes, Trump is still in a state of war with Russia, but it's not his war. He did not start it, and he wants to end it as soon as possible. The point is that he does not know exactly how to do this, nor does he fully understand what Ukraine means to us. Judging by his approach, he has a rather simplistic view of the tools and paths available to resolve the conflict. Nevertheless, he's clearly determined to stop the war. He either wants to end it permanently or simply withdraw from it, leaving the Ukrainians to fend for themselves with the support of the European Union. Trump increasingly trusts Putin, while he trusts Zelensky less and less. The agreement for a 30-day pause in attacks on energy infrastructure is indicative. Russia immediately honored the agreement, even shooting down its own drones that were heading for the energy targets in areas controlled by Ukraine regime. Zelensky, on the other hand, struck an energy facility in Stavropol. Trump is now seen firsthand whose reasons carry weight and whose do not. Zelensky has no intention of listening to Trump. And let's remember what happened in the Oval Office there. Now, because the only way to stay in power for a little longer is for Zelensky to desperately continue the war in a state of political agony. He has put himself in a hopeless position, but the crucial thing is that he openly shows complete disrespect for Trump. In essence, he's spitting in the face of the very man, Trump that is, who is waging this war with Ukrainian hands. After all, in essence, we are at war with the United States. Zelensky, that is, Russia, is in war with the States because the States is supporting Ukraine. If it stops to support, Ukraine can't do it. Now, Zelensky is just a tool, a hostage of the situation he found himself in when he became a puppet of the globalists who were in power in the United States at the time. But now the people in power in the States have an ideology that's completely opposed to that of the previous. They are patriots. In fact, Trump himself, in a recent interview, called himself an American nationalist, saying that America's interests come first, and this is completely logical. This is realism in international relations. The picture is clear. Trump does not want war and is going to withdraw from it. He sees Putin as a reliable partner, someone with whom one can negotiate and who can keep his promises. In contrast, the behavior of Zelensky in the European Union stands out sharply. Aggressive, fanatic, irresponsible, malicious, petty, untrustworthy, and deceitful. These are, in fact, Trump's enemies. That's exactly how he was treated in previous years. Consequently, as Trump begins his second term, he's beginning to figure out who he can trust and who he cannot trust, who aligns with American interests and who undermines them. And this process will gradually lead to a solution. At the same time, voices in Europe are increasingly saying that Trump has betrayed globalism and liberalism, but to prepare for war with Russia without U.S. support, the EU would need at least 3 years to transform its military forces, and even then, such a transformation would require a completely different political system than what exists today in modern Europe. Liberalism is completely unsuitable for an economy mobilized for war. Therefore, this goal is simply unattainable for them. And that is why the fact that Putin and Trump are negotiating peace without Zelensky and without the Europeans is a big importance. Trump wants to end the war he inherited from his predecessors and those that were against him, and there are those who are moving in that direction. But Russia will not give up an inch of its national interests, and Putin has made that abundantly clear. In general, the fate of the world now depends on how Russian-American relations develop. Although we're still far from recession, de-escalation has already begun, and this is a reason for optimism as the world is slowly moving away from the brink of nuclear apocalypse on which we were until very recently. A new order of great powers is taking shape before our eyes, and the Putin-Trump talks are an important milestone on the path to its final formation, to the formation of a new world order. For the part from Russia, Putin conducted these negotiations in an excellent manner. On every issue, he remained firm. He did not compromise, while at the same time showing a sincere willingness to move towards peace in the Trump talks. He demonstrated responsibility for the decisions he made and implemented them immediately. And this is extremely important and positive, especially against the backdrop of Europe increasingly distancing itself from Trump. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.